Hi, this is Randy Vice once again with the Westbrook B Team Red Team. Today we're going to be talking about the passing plays. Just like in the running play system, when we're in the I, we're still going to go with odd plays called to the left, even plays called to the right. Again, we discussed this in the running play, but I did think it was important to go over it again. Most of our passes have names and not numbers, but there'll occasionally be a number, and you'll know what general direction you'll be going in. But again, it's not as important as during the running plays, because with passing, we'll notify that will be basically described as a pass in the play calling. Again, our backs are numbered in the passing plays, but we don't use this as much as we do in the running plays. So the quarterback is the 1 back, fullback the 3, halfback or tailback the 2, and the other halfback or slot back is the 4. Once again, here are major formations, the I formations and the gangster formations. We're going to stick with the I right and the I left today with a couple of key differences that we'll throw in there as we progress. The gangster plays will be described in another presentation. Almost all of our passing plays will be determined by saying which side of the formation the tight end is on. Instead of saying I right, when it's a pass, we'll say tight end right. And here's the first example. This is what I call the clear-out pass. And the purpose of the clear-out is basically to clear the defense out and have enough available receivers in an area. Very similar to the flood route in many ways. And in the tight end right, clear-out pass left, the quarterback takes 3 steps straight back. The fullback takes steps to his left. He then it gets through the fullback's responsibilities to block first. Now, if the quarterback scrambles and trying to get away from defensive players, if the quarterback scrambles, in that case, the fullback will release and be a safety valve receiver. The tailback, if you notice, has moved out of his normal tailback position and over into the slot receiver position. This is also called trips left in some traditional play calling terminology. In a situation of a trips left, the tailback will shoot straight, what we call a reverse flag route, similar to a drag route, except it's straight. He'll run straight and end up behind basically where the right linebacker would have started out. The Y back, who would normally be the right side receiver, or the slot back, the Y back runs 7 yards and then cuts to the center of the field. The X, or the regular wide receiver, runs a deep route straight down the field and tries to outrun the cornerback. This is the exact same play as previously mentioned, except it's to the right side of the field with tight end left. I can't overemphasize for the quarterback to drop straight back quickly. We'll work on this in practice where the 3-step drop is all about. And as the quarterback takes that 3-step drop, that should immediately draw the down lineman in a little bit. The linebackers are going to react to the play calling, hopefully a little bit late. Here, the tailback should be the primary receiver because we're hoping the linebackers are bitten. If not, you've got the other 3 receivers which are available as shown above. Again, this is pretty much simple drop back passing. This particular slide is a little bit different because it involves the quarterback rolling out. And when the quarterback rolls out, in general, the secondary and even the linebackers will shift to the side that he rolls out, hopefully try to come up and make the play. If he does that, it's extremely important that as soon as the ball is snapped, the fullback and tailback clear out to their respective routes. Both of them are eligible receivers on this pattern. The X and the Y have different patterns, but end up basically in the same general area. The Y streaks to what we call the flag route, straight down the sideline, trying to beat the cornerback, and the X does what we call a post route. He goes about 10 yards downfield and cuts straight toward the goal post. All in all, this play should be over pretty quickly. It's not a bootleg or anything like that where the quarterback goes out looking for the receivers. If the quarterback looks up, doesn't see the receiver on his rollout, he tucks it and runs. Gets as many yards as he possibly can. Once again, the quarterback rolls to the left. This is the same pass as before, except it's to the left instead of the right. And this is a time when I can try to explain a little bit more. We have it drawn up where the quarterback opens directly to the sprint out. If the quarterback prefers to reverse out, which means open to the right and then go back to the left in a bootleg type style, that'll work as well, and that's completely up to what he's most comfortable with at this point. And we may change it and direct the reverse out in practice. But right now, the quarterback, whichever way he comes from out from under center, will roll out to the left. And again, the patterns are very similar to before, except it's a mirror image of the previous play. But this is one of my favorite plays on the passing game for this age group, primarily because it's almost like backyard football, which kids rarely play that anymore. But basically, see the tailback lined up as the slot receiver in the trips formation, tight end right, and the tailback is to the left. Both the Y and the X are also receivers. And again, we talked about this in the other slide. This is what they used to call trips, and you may hear me yell trips right on occasion. But nonetheless, the idea is every receiver is basically in the same general area. And you can see the routes as they exist. The X goes down about 16 yards and stops and cuts back. The Y runs the most famous route in football, the 7 and out. The tight end drags across, and the fullback releases into what's known as the flat. And the tailback basically runs a 10-yard stop route. Now, again, this can evolve into scrambling. If the line is doing a good job and the quarterback's not under a tremendous amount of pressure and the receivers are not open, then the quarterback can actually turn up the field in a bootleg type situation. Again, this is a mirror image of the previous play. It's just a flood pass right. A great play. You tend to want to run it, believe it or not, toward the short side of the field or the narrow side of the field, because it compacts everything into one area. And if the quarterback can't find an open man and can't turn it up, once he's out of the pocket, he can throw the ball out of bounds without any kind of penalty. But again, he has to be sprinting out of the pocket when he does that. We'll go over that in practice. So I want you to understand that's the purpose of the flood pass, is to bring all the receivers into one area. Okay, this is the tight end right deep cross pass. And basically, if you notice the bend in the pink line or the violet line, whatever it is, that's basically the direction that we want the line to kind of fan back into. They'll take a drop step, let the, mainly just bend but don't break. The quarterback gets a 3-step drop. You can't see it on this slide. But and then he hits his open receiver. And we can do all kinds of things with this. We can sprint out. If you notice, the tailback and the fullback are beside each other in what would be similar to the old wishbone formation if you had another running back in there. But again, this is a traditional play. But by crossing, if there's a safety covering one of the players, oftentimes there's an unintended or intended, however you want to look at it, pick that result. But again, this is the deep cross pass. Now, the next slide will be the tight end left deep cross pass, and it's just a simple mirror image of this one. And now the fun stuff. Every team's got to have a halfback pass. We call it the tailback pass because I prefer the terminology for tailback instead of halfback, but coaches will call it both. This is the right version of it when the tight end's on the left side. The quarterback pitches to the tight end to the tailback, just like it's going to be a quick pitch. But instead, the tailback looks up, and his first receiver is usually, in this age football, going to be the Y, who's streaking down the field, probably by himself, because as soon as that tailback takes off running with the ball, that cornerback's going to run up for outside contain, leaving the receiver wide open. But if not, then the tight end dragging across the middle, or the fullback, who will probably be replaced with another receiver in this particular situation. The fullback is dragging across the middle also. But again, this is a little bit of trick play. But now tailbacks, listen, you've got to make this look like a run. And just like we told the quarterbacks earlier, on that pitch, if you look out there and nobody is open and you're afraid to throw it without it getting intercepted, then you turn it up and run just like a quick pitch. Identical to the previous pass except the mirror image. Now, unlike the flood pass, the a halfback pass, we usually run to the wide side of the field. But at the same time, the halfback can, just turn the ball up and run. He can throw it out of bounds if he needs to, but try to throw it in the general vicinity of the receiver.